Hey guys, I got another lesson for you beginners out there with the Deus II. We're going to keep it really simple here, short, sweet, like we had the last two lessons. This one's going to be on three of the settings that will probably be the most important for this machine moving forward. You're going to want to know about them, so stick around. We're going to get started right now. Hey guys, Scott here from the Mental Metal channel and mentalmetaldetecting.com, and today we're going to do another lesson here with the XP Deus II. I've had this machine a little while now, and I'm putting out these quick little videos for you guys who are new to the Deus II, or who are new to coming over to the XP line of detectors. I had the original Deus, and now I have the Deus II, courtesy of Fort Bedford Metal Detectors. I want to thank those guys for getting this machine in my hands, and I'm really having a good time with it so far. If you guys are looking to get on the list, waiting list, if there is one, there may not be any more, you can go over and check out Fort Bedford Metal Detectors and get a hold of Keith or whoever is there working and see if you can get one of these good machines. It's a really great machine. Had a good time with it, like I said. But today we're going to do another quick micro session or a lesson here on the Deus, and this time we're going to go over probably the three most important settings that you can change on this machine that will either, one, work wonders for you, or two, really screw you up. So a lot of people come over and they see all the options that Deus has to offer, and it's like there's so many things you can mess around with. Word of advice, folks, if you're coming over to the Deus and you're new to the XP line of detectors, these stock programs that are built into the machine, there's 12 of them. I actually think there's 14, but they only put 12 in the menu, or 12 in the manual. You need to stay with those stock programs from the start until you get used to the machine and what each one of these settings does for you. Okay, do not try to go in there and start messing around with a bunch of stuff. It's only going to screw you up. It's going to frustrate you, and you're going to hate the machine. So stick with the stock programs for now. They're very good and they're very deep. I'm actually really surprised. This is one of the things that is way different than the original Deus. So I'm very happy to tell you that if you use the stock programs and don't change much, it's not going to hurt you at all. It's actually going to be good for you. All right. Today we're going to go over discrimination, sensitivity, and the silencer. Those three settings alone can either make or break you on this machine. All right. All right. So let's go over sensitivity first. We're going to go over sensitivity, then we're going to follow up with discrimination, silencer, and reactivity. Okay, so we'll go over the sensitivity one first. It's the easiest one to change that will help you if your machine is very chatty, very loud, and it seems like it's just won't calm down. The first thing you're going to want to try is lowering your sensitivity. So to get there, you're going to press your menu button, and it may not be exactly on sensitivity from the get-go. You might have to actually scroll down through using that down arrow until you get back to sensitivity. There's a lot of stuff in here you can mess with. Spoiler alert, you probably saw discrimination and reactivity in there too. So anyway, right now I have my sensitivity at 94. I like to run mine pretty hot. Like I typically will run mine at 95. I've heard people run them even higher. Just know that the higher you go in sensitivity, the louder, or not the louder, the more chatter. Like you hear the chatter that's going on in the background with my machine. That's just because I'm in the house and there's a lot of EMI. But out in the field, it can get really chatty too. So the other thing you want to keep in mind is the more sensitivity you have, the more susceptible your coil is to hitting things, and it will actually go off. So if you have stubble or something you're going over, the coil may make a lot of noise just because it's the sensitivity is up too high. So you may have to lower it down. And to lower it down or raise it up, it's very simple. You hit the plus buttons to raise it up, or the minus button to lower it down. That's all there is to it for sensitivity. Now, I want to tell you guys the next three settings that I'm going to show you are the three biggest changes you can make to the machine that will have the most impact. So you're going to want to know discrimination, reactivity, and silencer pretty good. You got to know what they do. Now, I will tell you also before we get into this that I would stick with the stock programs right now. If you're new to the days, you're going to want to stay in the stock programs. You don't need to do much, folks. I've been testing these programs out, and they work really, really well. The deep high conductor one, program 6, works really well. Park works really well. So you just need to not mess with the settings if you don't need to. All right. The more you mess with it, the more you're going to get confused. You're going to start seeing people out there adding their programs out there. Oh, use this program, use that program. Folks, you're just going to start chasing programs. Just stick with the stock until you get really good with this machine and then start, experimenting. All right. That's just my tip for you. I can't tell that enough to people when they buy one of these machines. They just start chasing everybody's program and they get frustrated. So don't do that. Just put some hours on the machine with stock programs, know what they do, start gradually messing with settings. All right. So let's go find discrimination. So we're going to hit our menu button again. Right now you're in sensitivity, so you're going to want to actually scroll down. We're at frequency shift, iron volume, reactivity. We'll come back to that one later. There, we're at discrimination. For this program, it's 7. Again, to raise and lower it, you just hit your plus and your minus buttons. Now, your discrimination is going to knock out certain things. So the more discrimination you have, the more things it's going to knock out. You're going to have to play around with this to see what you like and what you don't like, and check the default programs and what they set up with. Because some of these programs are set up with some pretty high discrimination. Now, you may not want that. You might want to lower that down a little bit. All right. So that's discrimination. It's pretty cut and dry. Everybody knows kind of what discrimination does. Every machine has discrimination. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. Let's look at reactivity. All right. Or actually, yeah, let's look at reactivity. Hit your menu button again. We're at sensitivity, frequency shift, iron volume, reactivity. Now, this is the speed. This is, if you have an Equinox, this is the same thing as recovery speed, reactivity. They call it reactivity with the Deus. The higher you go, the faster the machine will react to, um, the better separation it's going to get. There's a trade-off. The lower you go, and again, you can lower the reactivity by hitting the negative button down to 1.5, down to 0.5, down to 0. So if you set your reactivity really low, like at 0.5 or 1, the tones of the signals are going to be kind of long, elongated. So your short blips are going to be very, very, I would say they're going to be long signals. So it's going to be a little different. The higher you go at like 2.5, or I'm sorry, 3 and on up, you're going to get signals that are going to be cut short. So you can hear those little squeakers in between the iron. So you're going to want to play around with this setting to make sure you've got it right. Test it out. I mean, if you get a real bad iron patch or something, you may want to bump it up to 3. I typically run mine at 2.5, 2, or 1. Actually, they have 1.5 now. So I may just start with 1.5. And if I need more, I can just gradually bump it up the more I need to, the better. So there you go. I can crank up to 3. I can crank it all the way up to 5 if I wanted to. But I've never run 5 ever. So that's reactivity. It's basically your recovery speed. So remember, the higher you make it, the faster your recovery speed is, but there's a trade-off. You're going to lose depth and your signals are going to be a little different, so you have to pay attention. All right, guys, next we're going to try to find the silencer. Now, if we go through the menu, let's see if we can see it. Go through the menu, cycle through, there's sensitivity, there's frequency shift, there's iron volume. Some of these I haven't talked about yet. Reactivity, discrimination. We haven't seen it yet, but to get there, it's really kind of strange. You have to go into expert mode in discrimination. And even though you can scroll down through the menu in discrimination, and you can see all these different settings here. Oh, there it is, silencer. So that's how you get to the silencer, guys. It's a little bit different. You got to go into discrimination, hit expert, and then scroll through. So now your silencer, I always like to think of it as opening a door to how much iron you allow in the machine. If you use silencer of 0, you have the door wide open for all this iron to come through, and it's, the door's wide open. As you raise up your silencer, that door starts to close. So you're starting to cut out all that iron, and it makes it sound different on the machine. I highly recommend that you test this setting out when you're actually messing around, because this alone can make a world of difference. Now, I forget what the silencer was on. I think it was on 2. I don't want to mess up this program, so I'm leaving it at 2. But this thing can make or break your program. So just make sure you have this checked out the way you want it when you're going through your programs. When you start making your own programs, this setting is very important to know and understand what it does. The combination of reactivity and silencer, I'm telling you, and discrimination are the 3 biggest changes you can make to this machine that will impact its performance. So just keep that in mind, all right? Hey guys, that's all there is to these 3 settings. Those 3 are in a nutshell, plus your sensitivity. You're pretty much getting to the point in this lesson 3 here where you're getting pretty good with the machine by now, and you're really learning everything there is to learn about it. There's a lot of other little things to chat about, but that'll be in other videos. We'll talk about iron audio next time, maybe, and a couple other things. Eventually, we'll get into creating our own programs and changing tones and tone breaks and all that fun stuff. But I recommend right now that you guys just stay in the base programs and work from there. Put some hours on this machine, understanding what each of those programs do. Hey guys, that's it for me today on this lesson 3 on sensitivity, discrimination, silencer, and reactivity. I hope that worked out for you. Hope you got everything that you wanted out of this video. If you didn't, leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do for you. I love doing these kind of videos and helping you guys out, because I know how hard it was converting over to the Deus when I first bought mine. So I want to make this easier for you guys. So hopefully these lessons are helping some of you out. At least get the basics down and get yourself out in the field as quick as possible. Like I said, if you have any comments, any questions, drop a comment. Please like the video, and we'll see you in another mental video.